Okay, 2023, we are back. Happy New Year to everybody. It feels a bit weird to be back fully podcasting. You might have seen that I did not a full Vlogmas, but a couple of weekend vlogs during December. This is completely, well, it's not completely unplanned. I had kind of thought that I would do a bit of a kind of start of the year, see where everything's at video, but I just decided to get on with it tonight without having written down a plan of what I'm going to talk about. I'm hoping it's going to be quite a short one because I don't want to spend forever editing it. I'm on a very squeaky stool, so apologies if you hear that in the background. As you can see, I have a large pile of project bags behind me. So my plan is to go through leftover whips from last year, quick bit of acquisitions from a couple of treats that I got over Christmas, and if I think of any plans for 2023, I will mention those. I've not really made any definite plans yet, so we'll just see. So brief bits of admin. If you are new to this channel, then please do like and subscribe and comment and all of that jazz. You can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram, both under Acorn Cottage Knits. So I don't think I actually said my name is Jess, so hello if you are new and welcome, thank you for watching. As you can probably guess, it's been a while. I podcasted kind of early autumn, and then I was planning to have a break anyway because I got married in October. Meant to come back to it properly and just never got around to it. So anyway, we're back and I'm going to try and make 2023 a bit more consistent, but we'll just see how that goes. There's no pressure. Also, just to touch on what I am wearing. This, if you've watched before, you might recognise. It's my Lagoon Chunky cardigan. I've talked about it loads in different videos, so I won't go into it now. But I will put the pattern and all of that in the description box below. You can see there's nice kind of cabling on it. This has honestly been one of my favourite pieces over the winter, not just because I've worn it, as I've made it. It genuinely is just so cosy. It's made entirely out of mohair and it's like wearing a hug. Anyway, moving on, because as I said, I don't want this to take forever. So if we start with the project bags, so there's no rhyme or reason to these really. They are all whips, so anything that I've got was cast on during 2022. I've got one whip that I cast on once. Oh, actually no, I think I did cast it on before New Year, but it was a post-Christmas cast on, so I'm not going to include it. So first up is a slip over. So this I started probably summertime with the aim of it being a nice autumn piece for my work wardrobe. So obviously it needs a lot of blocking. That is going to fold down. Now I've not got a printout of the pattern in my project bag there. I'm pretty sure, I know it's a Petite Knit one, and I'm pretty sure it's the Friday slip over, but if that's wrong, excuse me, mohair is up my nose now. If that's wrong, I will put that in the description below. So that top collar needs stitching down. So in terms of where we're up to on this, I pretty much just need to do a bind off. I mean, you can't really even call it sleeve, but that kind of cuff on the armhole and do the cuff on the other side. So it's almost done. It just didn't get done for ages, and then I couldn't be bothered picking up stitches. But I need my 3.5mm needles for a project that I want to do with one of my advents that I had. So I just need to get it finished basically, and actually it will make a really nice springtime piece instead of autumn. So, oh, I didn't plan that well, putting the bag on the floor. Do I have a ball band? The answer is no. It's the, testing my memory, I'm going to go with Stylecraft ReCreate. It's a DK yarn, and it's got lots of kind of tweedy flecks, even bits of like glittery stuff from recycled materials. So it works up really nicely because it just gives a slight variation in the colour. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It's just that I was being lazy and didn't want to pick up the stitches, so that's why that one is still as a whip. Pack that back into its bag. Nice little red pandas on that one. I got this bag at the Northern Textiles show, which was maybe November or late October, I can't quite remember, but anyway, it was in Manchester, which is on the outskirts. It was generally more kind of fabric and sewing things. There were 1 or 2 yarn stands, and I honestly cannot for the life of me remember who I purchased this from, but I love it. And so if it was you, thank you very much. Obviously not that I'm expecting dyers and that a lot to be watching this. So that is bag number 1. Bag number 2, rescue bag. So it's just in a plain canvas drawstring that the yarn actually came in. So the yarn is from the Camels Yarn, and it was one of the Christmas pre-order colourways, which is Partridge in a Pear Tree. So hopefully you can see some of that without it getting too squiffy, and I'm just trying not to drop my ends in a cup of tea that's in front of me. So this was my kind of treat to myself, to cast on a pair of socks once I'd finished making Christmas presents for everybody. So I'll wear them for Christmas next year, but it's just been nice to have that sort of festive colourway. It's just a plain vanilla DK sock, not DK, fingering weight sock, sorry. You can tell it's been the first day back to work and my brain is absolutely dead. But anyway, so I'm nearly up to the toes on the first sock there. Sorry if you can hear the rattling. I've got a box of light bulb progress keepers in there. I'm just trying to get hold of the label. There we go. So it's Partridge in a Pear Tree, standard sock, 4-ply fingering weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 100 grams, 425 metres. So that is that one. Nice and quick. Next we will go for, let's go for this. No, that's not the one I was aiming for, but we'll go with this one. So this is in my very cute fox project bag. So I got this because it was foxes and acorns, and I thought it was quite appropriate for the name of the channel. This was bought, I want to say it's Spring Into Wool, but again, I cannot remember what stand I bought it from, so apologies there. But again, it's a really lovely project bag. I'm very annoyed at myself though, because I knocked over a glass of red wine and splashed some of it on the bag. So it's not immediately obvious unless you know to look for it, but it hasn't entirely come out, which is a bit disappointing. So in this one, I have got, well, I've got another set of 3.5mm needles, which I'd forgotten I had. So that's a nice surprise. I think it'll still be quicker to finish off the slip over than try and finish this. So we've got a fingering weight shawl, and now I've got this out again, I'm actually really liking it. I think I got bored of it because it's just the same things on repeat, but I love the yarn. It's a Yarn Unique one. So she's actually based in Warrington where I live, so it's nice to support a local dyer. So it's, yeah, kind of triangle shape shawl. Obviously it's not the finished size yet, so I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that. Hopefully you can at least see where the light's kind of coming through the eyelets. The project bag has just fallen on the floor. So this one is called the Deep Winter Shawl. So I think perhaps I was at the end of where the pattern was, and I'd finished the first cake, but it was quite small and I decided I want to make it a lot bigger. So I think I was just kind of winging it and just going to keep going. I'll see how that goes, but I think that is one that I would like to pick up on again. I finished my Exordium shawl, which I'd have talked about previously. That was finished, well, in time for the end of the Across the Pond shawl MKAL. So I think it was either finished by the end of September or by the end of October, whichever one was the deadline. And I did wear that a bit over the winter. I've really enjoyed it, and I just like a good scarf. So I think these sort of fingering weight, 2 skein shawl wrap scarf things will be really nice for kind of winter wearing. And I actually bought a new coat which has like a V-neck on it, with the thought of actually it'll be really nice to wear some scarves or shawls, kind of show them off in that. So I just get my ends tucked back in. So that's that one. I really do enjoy a satisfying drawstring on a project bag. Right, so this is the bag I was aiming for last time. So this bag is relatively new to me. It was a wedding present from my really lovely friends, Lucy and Karen. So Lucy is This Nanny Knits and Karen is Knitting and Labradors. Lucy was able to come to the wedding, so it was really nice to see her. I have met her before. Unfortunately, Karen wasn't able to make it down in the end. But anyway, they really kindly gave me this gorgeous project bag. So they know that teal is my favourite colour. The wedding was sort of teal and dark green themed, so perfect gift for that. It's got a really nice floral lining, which I hope you can see. Really useful. So it's got a wrist strap, it's got a kind of a keyring hook inside, and it's got lots of inside pockets. So this one I am making a Musselburgh, which I'm using, gosh, what's her name? Wild Purl yarns. I cannot remember the name of the colourway, and I've put the piece of cardboard inside the cake, so I will try and remember and put it in the comments below, description below, you know where I mean. So this is the second Musselburgh that I've made, and another project bag has fallen on the floor. So this seems to be a running theme. I've got quite a lot of progress keeps on this one actually, just to see, as I think I did a lot of knitting in the car as we were travelling over Christmas. This one is very fun, fried egg on toast, why not? So this hat was supposed to be for me. I'm a bit unsure whether I'm going to keep it for me. The yarn is gorgeous, it's so soft. If I remember rightly, I think it's an 85-15 split, and it's really genuinely lovely. I love Lauren's yarn. Lauren runs the Wild Purl Yarns Etsy page. I just don't know, because it's got quite a lot of brown in. It just looks a little bit kind of army print and boyish at the moment. So I'm going to finish it anyway, and it'll either be for me or I'll find someone to give it to. I'm not saying it has to be a boy's hat, but it might just not be my colours. So we'll see how it goes, but it's a nice easy pattern to knit, because once you're past the top, it's just, you know, away you go. So that's the Musselburgh, and if I don't keep this one for me, I'm going to buy more of her yarn to make myself one, because the first Musselburgh I made was in a pink, also from Wild Purl Yarns, and that was gifted to my sister with the plan that I would then make this one and would have matching hats. So I'll see where we get to with that, but certainly by next winter hopefully I'll have one. And you probably just saw there I dropped the bag again. So that means go back inside. Right, there we go. Another bag out the way. I think we're getting on to slightly more long-standing whips. So this bag, I don't think the camera's flipped the right way around to see it. It's a Woolly Mama Yarns bag, and it says home is where the yarn is. A nice big zip up bag. So I have random pieces of tissue paper. Let's get rid of that. And that's a skein which we will come back to later. So in this one I have another sock. So this is using a Ducky Darlings colourway. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, and I don't have the ball band for it anymore, but it's sort of these pastel colours, and then I've gone for a kind of peachy pinky pastel heel and do the same on the toe. So this, well, it was going to be a part of a Christmas present for my sister, but it just wasn't going to be finished in time, so she's having it as a belated present. I've got just onto the toes. I do my toes on DPNs, 2.5mm. The rest of the sock also on the 2.5mm, but on a 9-inch circular. And I wanted the 9-inch circular for starting my Christmas socks with the Partridge in a Pear Tree colour. So I just basically rushed through these to get onto the toes, and then I've left them since kind of Christmas Eve when I cast on those other socks. But I will get them finished. This is the first sock of the pair. Again, standard vanilla sock. This one I've done quite a long cuff because she likes the extra length on them. So I think I haven't got any notes with me on this one, so I can't quite remember. I'm going to say it was a 15 round cuff. I'm going to gamble on 65 round leg. I could actually count that. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yes, 65 rounds on the leg. And I think, is it, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yeah, 65 rounds on the foot before starting the toe for her size of foot. So again, just a nice easy DK sock. So this is what's left of the cake. Hopefully if I bring that a bit closer, you might be able to see some of the colours in there. I have no idea if that's focusing or not, but anyway, that should as well hopefully use up most of the remaining yarn in that, and then anything that's left can just be for scrappy projects. The toe colour is in here somewhere, and there we go, just a little ball of it. That was a 20 gram mini. I can't remember where the mini was from, but it's nice to be using it. A lot of the time my minis just go into cozy memories or scrappy swaps with people, so to actually be putting a 20 gram mini into the sock is quite nice. So that's another bag out of the way. Oh, there we go. So nearly at the end of the basket. This project bag, if I can even get it open, this is a Lauren Aston Designs project bag. Again, I don't think that writing is going to be the right way round for you. It says stitch please. So this bag was a gift. Now this is the whip, which honestly has been ongoing for longer than I would care to admit. This was supposed to be a birthday present for my brother. His birthday is in November. What makes it worse, it was supposed to be his birthday present for November 2021. Oops. So this is as far as I've got. It looks small, but it's got quite a lot of stretch in it, but I'm not going to stretch too far because it's still on the yoke section and I don't want to pull it all off the needles. It's incredibly soft yarn. It's a drops yarn, and oh, I can't remember which one. Might be drops air or drops sky. I don't remember. It's a chained one anyway, but again, I'll put the details below. So this is my third attempt at this. I think it's actually the furthest I've got because I keep falling out with it and banishing it, which is why it's taking me so long. I love the yarn and I think it will look really effective once it is done. It's going to be a kind of a roll neck jumper with these stripes going through it. I just don't like the pattern. So if you've come across drops patterns before, they are free patterns, which is fantastic, and the yarns that Drops make are brilliant. They are so affordable, and there's such a range of them, but a lot of the patterns are translated. I can't remember what the original language is, but I have found on this one that the translation just doesn't read well in English, if that makes any sense. So it's taken a lot of kind of attempts and interpretation to work out actually how it should look. So I am on track with it now, and if I get past the raglan, I think it will genuinely fly through, because after that you've not got to factor in the increases. So this is going to be one of my focuses for 2023 because I really do have to get this finished. It's just ridiculous how long it's been taking me. Some people have said, you know, why don't I use the yarn for something else, because it was with the stripes and they're not equal distance stripes. There's like a chunky stripe and a thin stripe, and I just think it would get complicated trying to work out yardages for another pattern, and then if it didn't have the right amounts, looking for dye lots. And anyway, I'm going to persevere, so hopefully watch this space and fingers crossed, I think. So that's all I'm going to say on that one again. And yeah. Okay, so we have one more thing in the basket. This again is a really special project bag. So if I bring it a bit closer, you can hopefully see that it is a Harry Potter themed one. So Quidditch themed on the outside, and on the inside you've got the Deathly Hallows logo, emblem, whatever. So this was made for me by a lovely lady called Lindsay, who is in our knitting group. So I am in a group called The One with the Knitting Friends, and she incredibly kindly made all of us our own project bags. So this one is housing, you might be able to guess from as it starts to make its way out. This is my Westnitz Twists and Turns MKAL. So yeah, that's as far as I've got. I got through that first bit just, I think maybe a week and a half into it, so it wasn't within the first week, but I was on my honeymoon for part of that, so hopefully I'll be forgiven for not having quite as much knitting time. And then the second bit, I've kind of got this far on. You've probably all seen by now how it looks. I just need to get on with it, basically. I think I kind of fell behind on the, well, not deadlines, but the kind of the timings of it. Excuse me, I dropped the back again. So I fell behind on the timings, and then just, I still want to make it, and I want to just prove to myself that I can do it. But then I think I just moved on to kind of like thinking about Christmas knitting and stuff. So yeah, that's that one. That's probably another fairly high priority in terms of the larger projects. So that is that one. And the basket is empty. So I think we're doing quite well. Probably coming up to 20 minutes once I've faffed on a bit of editing and taking things out, which is good because I don't want to have to do a lot of editing. I quite honestly cannot be bothered with that. The only bits I'm really going to take out is when I've stopped for a cup of tea. I am going to, however, I'm just trying to reach behind me without turning around, show you a couple of things which I got for Christmas. So first one, I'm not sure it's going to actually show very well because it's going to be a shiny packet. These are pencils, Maple and Grace Stationery. So personalised gift and party shop, mapleandgrace.co.uk. So these are a set of pencils, just kind of standard yellow pencils. Anyway, they all have writing on the end, which is knitting themed. So we've got Winter is Coming, Knit Faster, Knitting is My Therapy, Queen of Knitting, and Born to Knit. So those are really lovely, and I'll probably be putting those into a project bag, pencil case, something, somewhere that I can use those for my knitting. And I've also got from creativejournals.co.uk, so a knitting journal. This was from one of my friends. So I don't think, as I say, I can't get my head around what the right kind of mirrored flip of the writing is, but anyway, it's called the Knitting Journal. So inside it's got knitting abbreviations, these stitches, index of projects, so you put your name of your project and what page of the journal it's on. So for your project, you've got your title, pattern source, gauge, needle size, and additional kind of tools or notions, when you've started it and how long it's taken you, details of the yarn, notes of any changes you've made, things to remember. It's got a space to put a photo, which is quite nice, and bits for yarn samples. So it's just lots of pages like that throughout the book. So yeah, like that. right up to the end. So that will be really useful. I keep changing my mind about how I want to kind of track knitting patterns, so I'm going to give that a go, I think. The other notebook I had got is one which is really special because it's been personalised. So this was a gift from my sister. It's a lovely cloth coloured lined book which says Acorn Cottage Knits along the front. So this was a made by Ellis, and I think you could probably find them on Etsy. I did have a quick look and I'm pretty sure it was Etsy. So it's just blank lined pages. So I will use it for some form of either knitting or podcasting notes. But I don't know if anyone else is like this. When I get a really lovely new notebook, I don't want to start it because it's too pretty and I don't want to spoil it. So I'm going to have a think about what I'm going to use this one for before I rush into it. The other thing which my sister gave me, which I'm not sure whether it was intended for me to use as a project bag, but I think I might use it as a project bag anyway. It is gorgeous. So it's by Elizabeth Scarlett, and she does various size pouches, she does purses and makeup bags and stuff, and it's got these gorgeous elephants on. So I think this might have to be used for a very special project because I absolutely love that bag and it is beautiful. I've actually wanted one of those elephant ones for a while and they're often out of stock, so I'm really pleased to have that. So that's just another extra little bit. As I say, I'm not sure whether the intention was to use it as a knitting bag or just because I love it. And you know, my sister knows me well and she knows that I would enjoy it, so but yeah, that might just have to house something special. The final bits that I'm just going to bring, you've probably seen as I've poured them round. So I've got a couple of skeins of yarn. So first up is this one from Giddy Yarns, and it's got a bunch of light bulb progress keepers on. So this was day 25 in the Advent, which I had. It was a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory's theme. I'll just look at all of those colours. So there's a kind of a lightish blue base, I would say, and then it's got lots of kind of bold jewel tones through it. So the colourway is called Charlie's Chocolate Factory. It's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon base, 425 metres or 464 yards, and 100 grams. So it's from Giddy Yarns. I have used her yarn in the past. I love it. I'm probably going to use this separately to the Advent. The Advent was 24 minis. I got the 10 grams. If I remember, I will put a picture here or here. I can't remember which side of the screen it goes. It's probably going to cover my face if it goes on this side, but oh well, if I remember I'll pop a picture in. If not, then I'll try and put one on Instagram or something. So what I will probably do is take 10 grams off the end of this because the pattern I'm using does need 25 10 gram minis. So if I take 10 grams off this, then make myself a nice pair of socks out of that, I think. In my knitting group, we're doing a knit along throughout the year for making socks, and I won't go into all the details of it now, but basically I think there will be a lot of socks in 2023. So that is the first skein. Second one, now this is incredibly special. This is from Castleview Yarns, and this is the Luxe sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, standard 425 metres to 100 grams. Now, colourway of this is called The One with the Knitting Friends of 2022. This was custom dyed for the group. So months back, Karen and Lucy, who run the group, asked us to vote on some kind of festive looking pictures to see which was our favourite. And then they used that, sent it to, I want to say it's Jen, who runs Castleview Yarns. Anyway, this skein was, so we each got a skein of this, and oh my gosh, just look at those colours. I can't wait to see how this is going to knit up. it's incredible and it's so soft. I was going to say this is my first Castle View yarns. It's not, because I had the Friends, not all the whole of the Friends minis, but I had some of the Friends minis. I kind of got onto that bandwagon a bit late, but I did get the last couple of months worth. So I'm really looking forward to, again, making myself a nice pair of socks with that one. Then the final one, you may recognise the bag. This is another of the Camels Yarn. And this one is, oh gosh, what was this base called? Do you know, I cannot pronounce this name, and I've just chickened out of telling you what the Advent project I was going to do is called, because it has this word in, H-Y-G-G-E. I'm going to try, sorry. But anyway, it's lovely. The colours aren't showing fantastically, I will be honest. It's looking a bit dull, but it's kind of lovely reds and oranges and kind of rusty colours. So I don't know if I can show that any better. I think, to be honest, I'm just sat in dodgy lighting. But anyway, that's another of the Camels Yarn. It was part of the Christmas pre-orders again. So I was a bit cheeky and basically sent a link to my sister-in-law and said, if you need any ideas for Christmas, this would be very much appreciated. And they very kindly got it for me. So that is lovely. When I was opening some of these skeins at Christmas, my husband Sam said, I apparently do the exact same thing whenever I get a new skein of yarn. So apparently I kind of open it, turn it around in my hands, and then like hug it to myself. I have never realised that I have done this, but hopefully I'm not the only weirdo out there who hugs their yarn. I mean, it's nice and soft, so why wouldn't you? That, I think, has got me to the end. So we've covered a bit of what's, well, I'm not going to say lingering from 2022, but what's going to be kind of top of the pile to be worked on for 2023. So hopefully by next time I will cast on an Advent project, possibly finished one or both pairs of socks. I'm going to go one pair of socks and the slip over. I need to finish the slip over to cast on the Advent project, so hopefully I'll get that done. I'm going to leave it there because we're about half an hour and that's more than enough. January's busy and I'm not going to keep rabbiting on. So I hope you have all had a really lovely kind of Christmas festive period and enjoy the new year. Do let me know in the comments below what your knitting plans are, whether you're trying to finish off things or whether you're using this to kind of start afresh, cast on some new things. So until next time, I will leave you to your knitting and have a really happy January. Bye.